WrestleZone presents Lost in the Midcard. Here are your hosts, Jeremy Bennett and Matt Black. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast where we just simply have to say thank you, Sting. It's Lost the Midcard. Welcome. Our first show of March. That means WrestleMania just around the corner. We just finished up with AEW's big pay-per-view Revolution on last night. We will get right into that in due time. We got our first Hall of Fame inductee, and we'll talk about the first 45 minutes of SmackDown. Well, it's pretty simple. We can condense it into 45 seconds probably. And then we'll set you up for Monday Night Raw at the top of the hour and preview Dynamite as well at the end of the show here. But first, if you have not done so already, make sure you are subscribed to WrestleZone. All you have to do is search WrestleZone, one word, on the YouTube and hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell icon so you know every time we go live at 7:10 Eastern, 6:10 Central every Monday. And maybe any special days. I don't know. Maybe we may do a special something for the WWE 2K24 release. You never know. We'll see what we got going on there. Of course, that comes out on Friday for everybody. Positive reviews, I believe, on that. We'll get into that maybe a little more next week once it's been out for a weekend for the people. But some people already have it already. Matt, you have it already?
The Deluxe and the 40 Reviews of WrestleMania editions release tomorrow or tonight at midnight if you have it pre-ordered. So lots of people will have it in just a few hours.
Cool.
Basically what I'm hearing is if you like 2K23, you're going to like 2K24. If you didn't like 2K23, you're not going to like 2K24. That's pretty much, that's pretty much the long and the short of it. So it really just comes down to is if you enjoyed last year's game, you're going to enjoy this year's, and if you didn't, they didn't do it. They didn't do enough in this iteration to shift you to the other side.
Yeah, and I barely even got into 23 because I got it for free for pre-ordering. I did not get the deluxe edition though. I just got the regular edition, so I'll wait till Friday, which is fine because again, I mean, it comes out tomorrow. Well, let's see. I host trivia tomorrow.
Tonight at midnight.
Yeah, I mean, I'm busy tomorrow. I'm busy Wednesday. So you'll be able to tell Friday.
Is this another week of JB locking up on us, ladies and gentlemen? I think it is. Oh boy, we're having fun already. JB's computer loves to lock up during Lost in the Midcard, and that's just how it's gonna be. So we're gonna talk to the chat until JB decides to come back. All right, let's just scroll to the beginning. Uncle Howdy saying howdy. What's up, Uncle Howdy? Steven Elimination Chambers saying what's up. What's up, man? Hope you're doing good. Ozzy wants to know if the boss showed up at the pay-per-view. The boss is showing up in Boston, Ozzy. Come on, man. You know better than that. It ain't too much longer. 9 more days till the boss, the CEO, whatever you want to call her, will be back on our TV screens. Steven also says, great pay-per-view last night. I agree. I thought AEW needed to hit a home run last night, and I think they did. Very, very, very good pay-per-view from AEW. Mark Joe saying, yo, in the chat. What's up, buddy? MCAS PDO 64. Let's fucking go. I agree. Let's fucking go. Stephen Chambers saying, what a great career. I'm sure you're referring to the Icon Sting, and I agree. The man went out in style last night. I don't know if a retirement match will ever be topped comparably to what we saw last night between Sting and Darby against the Young Bucks. Thought it was freaking awesome. Time change this weekend. Oh boy, I totally forgot about that. Not looking forward to it. Dennis, thank you, Sting. Well deserved. I agree. Sting deserves all the flowers, man. Absolutely deserves all the flowers. Scramble, well, it was thrown together at the last minute, Steven. The Scramble match was what it was. They wanted it to be Meat Madness. A lot of the meaty guys were on the shelf, had to put it on ice for the time being. We all knew going in Wardlow was winning, so honestly, it wasn't that big of a deal. Ozzy, Mr. Paul Heyman going to the Hall of Fame. Yet we'll be talking about Heyman during the show after the Revolution review when JB comes back. Frantic World in the chat. What's up to everybody? What's up to you, man? Dennis also congratulating Paul Heyman on his nomination to the WWE Hall of Fame. Steven, crowd chanting big guys, meat, and lower weight class guys, mini meat. Yeah, crowd was having fun last night at that arena. They were happy to be there, and it was very, very obvious. MK back. We needed a Nikita Koloff Russian sickle on the Bucks. By the way, no Luger sighted on the pay-per-view. Was that a WWE thing? Yeah, Luger was there. He took several pictures backstage with Stan and all those guys. Anybody under a WWE Legends deal who appeared at the event that night weren't allowed to be shown on camera. So Luger abided by WWE's request. Still went to the show, still supported his friend. Something like Kevin Nash could have done, but I digress. I don't know what Mark Show has now, but he's laughing about it, so let me know. Yes, yes he did, Steven. Yes, he did. Yep, everybody's talking about it. Everybody talking about JB locking up again. Damn that Nebraska internet. Big pop, Steven. Big pop. Safe saying, what's up, man? How you doing? Damn JB, LOL. Damn JB indeed. Like, he's got to get his computer fixed. He needs to reboot his computer before we start Lost in the Midcard so this kind of stuff doesn't happen again. Jeremy's computer has one job every week, and you're fired. That's fair. That's fair, MK. That's fair. JB and his adult content hard drive. I don't know about all that, but it's definitely something he needs to get fixed. Safe at Revolution was great. Yes, it was. Benjamin Jones. Now what are they going to do about the tag belts? Tony Khan said at the Revolution media scrum that there will be a tournament to crown new AEW World Tag Team Champions. I'm sure we'll be talking about that at some point. Revolution was great last night from Frantic World. Andrea, hey everyone. What's up, Andrea? How you doing? Jeremy doing buffer time. Speaking of Jeremy doing buffer time, he's back again.
It's not my internet. I have fiber. I have fiber. I have faster internet than 99% of this country. I don't know. I'm going to try a different browser.
Dude, I don't think it's your internet, dude. I think it's your computer taking a dump every time the show starts.
It's a brand new computer.
Well, that's not a good sign.
I'm trying a new browser because I've never had this issue.
I think you might want to just reboot your computer right before you go on the show every week now.
Well, it's hard to do when I go straight from work to here, but yeah, it's not. It's a new computer. It's barely a year old. I'm trying a different browser now. I've always used Edge, and
I don't use Edge. I use Chrome.
Yeah, I always had issues with Chrome with trying to get the mics to work, but obviously now that's working. So maybe I'll try Chrome and see if that's the issue, because it's not an internet issue. It's a software issue somewhere. And I updated all my drivers last week when this happened, and it's still doing it. So there's something that's conflicting because it causes the entire computer.
It's probably Edge, dude. I've had problems. Yeah. I always have issues with the Edge browser. I think I've had more issues with Edge than any other internet browser that's ever existed. So I think you might want to retire the Edge browser for this show. You think you know it, but you do not.
Right. So I'll see if Chrome works, because that means shit. It freezes the whole computer. So, and it's a brand new computer, so there's no hard drive issues or anything like that. And everything's worked fine. The whole time we were on Believe.
Suggested you use Firefox. I have not used that.
Because I mean, how many times every time we were on the Believes? How many times does that happen when we were on Believe? Never, right? It never happened when we were on.
Well, it didn't happen when we started over here either until like the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, so I don't know what's going on. But the entire computer freezes. I can't use my mouse or keyboard or anything, so it's weird.
And Andrea, I do think Revolution was awesome. I thought Sting's last match was awesome, and I thought it was a great way to end his career. So we're gonna be talking about that. We're gonna be talking about all kinds of stuff today.
Yeah, it was
now with
it was
JB back, so
it was a very long night, but I did not even watch the scrum. I'll probably catch that some other time. Because again, like what? Shoot, we had a 90-minute kickoff show and then 4-hour pay-per-view. And then then you got to wait like half an hour until the scrum starts.
I think it was the weakest kickoff show they've ever done. Like honestly, anybody to watch could have skipped that, and you wouldn't have missed a damn thing.
Yeah,
it was a very missable. Normally, there's 0 hours or like can't miss stuff. This one was just like, meh. It was.
I don't know why.
It was a lot of nothing.
I don't know why they made it a half an hour longer. I mean, is this basically their biggest pay-per-view of the year they consider now, or what?
No, they've all like the last 3 or 4 of their pay-per-views have been 90-minute pre-shows. This isn't anything new.
I could have sworn.
I think they started this with All In. I think All In started the 90-minute pre-shows, and they've just kept them since. So.
Yeah, they had a big 12-man tag team with Bang Bang Scissor Gang against Jeff Jarrett, Satnam Singh, Jay Lethal, that group that you haven't really seen on TV much lately. And then it appears they might be testing Willie Mack with Private Party. I don't know. I don't think they need it. I think Private Party as a tag team can stand alone on their own, especially now that the tag titles are up for grabs. They're being vacated. Private Party has kind of hit their stride now, and they've kind of paid their dues. They've each had some injuries they've gone through. And, I think they could be definitely a team that you could consider a front runner for the tag titles. Obviously, we'll get into it later, but Mox and Claudio's another team. They beat one of the best tag teams of our generation last night. So that whole thing will be up for grabs. We'll talk about the tag team division in a little bit. And then Statlander and Willow Nightingale defeated Julia Hart and Sky Blue. I'm guessing that's going to start some sort of TNT title match now that Julia's cleared to wrestle. We'll see what happens there. We kick things off with the TNT Championship, Christian Cage against Daniel Garcia. Very hot match, but yet a very predictable patriarchy cheating.
Yeah, I didn't like the finish at all. It felt very, just blah. That wasn't, to me, that wasn't the right match to start the show on. Did not care for it.
I was hoping Copeland show up and screw Christian, and that would lead to the title change. I predicted a title change because I felt like it was time for one, and you could continue Christian and Copeland without.
Yeah, it would have worked to get the TNT title out of the Copeland Cage feud and put it on somebody else, but apparently they're gonna keep it with that right now. I don't necessarily agree with it, but what can you do?
Yeah, I don't know, and Garcia, there's few wrestlers that are hotter right now, especially coming off of such a losing record, but he rebounded from losing in the Continental Classic to be able to do that. So it's
he got that last one against Brody King, and he went on like a run for like 2.5 months.
Yeah, exactly.
And like I would not have stopped it on Sunday. I probably would have pulled the trigger. If you needed to protect Christian, you could have had Daddy Magic or Copeland or somebody help assist him in winning the title. Like I think it was a mistake not to pull the trigger on Garcia last night.
That's another guy that's kind of over right now, Daddy Magic. I've always liked Daddy Magic. He's a unique character. The crowd popped when he came out. It's kind of funny, the stare down between Daddy and Mama. That was pretty good. I don't know how much Shayna Wayne was involved in pro wrestling back in the days, but I mean,
not really at all. I mean, she attended all of Nick's shows, but she was never like an actual character until now.
Even with like her husband, even with her husband, she really wasn't involved. I don't think.
Not that I'm
It,
aware of. I mean, I
it
could be wrong on that, but I don't know.
makes you wonder because she does such a good job being on camera and being a heel. I really have dug her addition to the patriarchy. I feel like Luchasaurus is kind of a weird fit into all that. Obviously, Christian has some dirty porn on him or something. I don't know what it is yet. Eventually, we'll probably find out. But yeah, I mean, it's a good opener. But yeah, the finish again was it's like a bloodline finish. We see this so many times, and we could have done with maybe a little more of a creative finish here or a Daniel Garcia win. So we'll have to see what happens there.
Funny things, we got hands in hands here. We got waiting for that new TV deal so pay-per-views can be on Max. Bleacher Report sucks. Yes, it does. Oh, and Ozzy asked if you think they'll lower the prices on the AW pay-per-views. Here's the thing for both of you guys. Get a
They increased them
VPN.
on Fight.
Even so, they're still half what they are in the States.
Yep.
You
But
get a
they're not going to
VPN,
decrease.
you go on Fight/Triller, and you can buy your pay-per-views on there.
Yep.
For half the price that you're paying in the States. I
Yep.
do believe once this TV deal and this media rights deal with the Warner Brothers Discovery is all said and done, all these pay-per-views are going to be moving to Max. But that's part of the negotiation that's going on right now between AEW and Warner Brothers Discovery. When that stuff is finalized, because I know the $50 a month is steep for a lot of people, but you can get it for a fraction of that price if you just get a VPN and go and order the pay-per-view on Fight/Triller, whatever they want to call themselves this month. And I never have problems with them. I watch it on my TV, and it's beautiful quality, no buffering issues. Like, I hardly run into any type of problems with Fight. And I know almost it seems like every other pay-per-view now, people are running into major issues with Bleacher Report. Like, get rid of Bleacher Report. Like,
Yeah.
There's better ways to watch AW pay-per-views now than BR, and BR is going to go the way of the dinosaur once this media rights deal is taken care of. I promise you that.
Yeah, because I mean, man, well into the pay-per-views when Tony Khan sent that tweet about it, U.S. customers can go to Fight.
Yeah, I think it was almost an hour into the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming they lost probably a significant chunk of pay-per-view buys last night because of BR shitting the bed. Because he didn't mention anything about pay-per-view buys, like early estimate numbers at the scrum last night, and he typically does. So I think BR really screwed AEW last night in terms of buys for this pay-per-view, and that's a shame.
Yeah, because it's like people bought it, then they go to watch it, and says, "Well, you got to buy it to watch it," and then it's went in this endless loop of shit.
Yeah, but as Benjamin said, WWE's going to Netflix, and if you're an international viewer of WWE, if you're outside the United States, it seems everything's going to Netflix. Raw, SmackDown, NXT, the premium live events, everything's going to be on Netflix. So, like, everybody outside the United States getting a great deal. If you're a WWE fan and you have Netflix, you're freaking set, because the WWE network's going away at the beginning of 2025 internationally because of this Netflix deal. So,
and you gotta believe Peacock's probably going away eventually. Well, maybe
Peacock's deal is up with WWE, I believe, sometime in 2026.
But they still have the relationship with USA. So I kind of wonder if they are going to leave that in the USA or not.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what they decide. To me, I think it comes down to who's going to offer them more money. Is Peacock and the NBC Universal going to increase the rights for what they've been paying for them on Peacock now, or is Netflix going to extend more money to them because Raw's done so well there throughout 2025 to get the premium live events stateside too? It's going to be really interesting to see how that all plays out over the next couple of years.
And hopefully Netflix at least puts some effort into the classic content if they do get the library now. Where Peacock, they made promises on day one, and those promises we're still waiting for. We're still waiting for those promises.
Yeah, the WWE section of Peacock is a nightmare to navigate. It's not good at all.
No, and you can't skip to particular matches. You can't, um, there was so many things the network had even that you can't do on Peacock. Now, thankfully, like one of the things I like to do is skip to the Royal Rumble match during Royal Rumble season and watch old Rumbles. Great thing about now is WWE's been uploading full Rumble matches to YouTube, like classic ones and everything. Like almost every, not quite every, but a lot, a good majority of Royal Rumble matches are now on WWE's YouTube account, which is kind of a good thing. That's kind of the number one thing that for me to skip to a certain match. But again, also you want to go watch a classic match, you got to go hunt and peck.
Oh no!
What happened? Did Matt freeze now? We're taking turns freezing tonight.
Chad, is this me or is this JB? What's going on?
You're frozen now. But yeah, you're back.
I can hear you. Are you sure I'm frozen?
Yeah, you were frozen for a bit.
Oh
You're
my
still
God,
a little
what
blurry.
the hell's going on?
You're still a little blurry, but yeah, I'm still here.
Lovely. That must be internet problems because my computer isn't doing anything wrong. It's got to be a Wi-Fi issue.
Yeah, but
before we get back to Revolution, Ozzy's asking about the where's Raw going to air after September when the USA Network deal expires. And WWE TKO mentioned on their earnings call last week that they are looking to negotiate a deal from the October 1st through the end of December of 2024 for a place for where Raw will air for those 3 months. Gun to my head, and I got to be right. I believe they're going to. I'm gonna believe they're gonna air on Peacock. I can't see a cable company picking them up for a 3-month deal. I think they're gonna be on Peacock.
Yeah.
So that's my guess.
It's already set up. They do live events already.
Yep. That's where I think it's gonna be.
Yeah, that is the best guess there. After the TNT title match, we got the Continental Crown Championship. Eddie Kingston, Bryan Danielson. My God. I thought this was going to be a match of the night, and then another match happened, which we'll get to later. But holy Jesus.
Incredible.
And not just
absolutely incredible.
Not just the match, and not just the after match, but you get go onto AEW socials. There's a 4-minute video of the two guys in the training room, and just the story that closed the chapter, the respect. Like all Eddie wanted was respect from his peers, and in that his peers is including Danielson, and just the whole package of the story that is. It's just been a great story told. This match was tremendous. They beat the dog shit out of each other. I knew Bryan's chest was going to be hamburger meat. I knew that was going to be a given in this match with Eddie Kingston. But the handshake afterwards, then go, if you haven't done so yet, or go to the AEW Twitter account. Yeah, it may be on YouTube by now too. It's only a 4-minute clip though. And tremendous video of those two in the training room as well. What were your thoughts on the match, Matt?
I thought the match was excellent, but my question is, based on the end of the match and what we saw on the post-match video, is AEW making a concentrated effort to push Danielson more towards the babyface side of the spectrum as his full-time career winds down this year? Because what I saw at the end of the match and what I saw from him in that backstage segment screamed a shift in Danielson's character as we go on for the rest of this year. Like that's how I saw it anyway. I don't know if anybody else agrees with me or not, but that's how I saw things.
Weren't there rumors that that possibly BCC were going to kick Danielson out?
I'd never heard that. I'd never heard that.
I heard some rumors, but yeah, it was a hell of a match between those two. But yeah,
well, if they do that, Danielson has plenty of matches to wrestle over the next couple months. But to me, it really feels like when we'll talk about this later in the show, it feels like they've firmly established Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli are now a tag team. They're not
Yeah.
two singles guys wrestling together on random weeks. They are a legitimate top tag team in AEW now. So
Yep.
if you do kick Danielson out, you're literally just left with a tag team and Wheeler Yuta. So I don't know if they can afford to boot Danielson out. I guess we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do exactly. It's kind of odd how he's been kind of separate from them, and then there's times where he's not separate from them. It's kind of weird. It seems like they don't want to know.
This is what everybody wants, Steven. This is what I want anyway. Bryan Danielson versus Nigel McGuinness at Wembley.
It's got to
That's
happen.
what I want.
All the digs that McGuinness does at Danielson, it's got to lead to something. It's got to lead to something. Road Warrior Mox and Road Warrior Swiss. That was funny because they were making fun of FTR for being, like throwback
Old
gimmicks
school,
or whatever.
yeah.
Gimmicks, and then they come out with those shoulder pads. Moving on to the 8-man scramble match. It was okay. It was a little.
It was fine.
Yeah, it was okay. It was disjointed
to me. It was
at
what
times,
to me. It was what you were going to expect when you threw together an 8-man match of this magnitude together at the last minute.
Yeah,
it was fine. Yeah. Like I liked the meat spots.
Oh boy!
In the match, yeah. I thought the meat spots were entertaining. It really gets me excited for what like a full blown Meat Madness match is going to look like when Miro and Keith Lee and all those guys come back and they're healthy and ready to go. But yeah, it was fine. But in going in, you damn well knew Wardlow was winning.
Yeah, the only other guy
there was no drama in the match whatsoever.
No, the only other guy that possibly could have won it would have been Hobbs.
I'm sure some people would argue that any night Jericho could insert himself into the title picture if he wanted to, but
people are getting tired of him.
I never saw him as a threat. To me, it was Wardlow's match to win because Wardlow pretty much set this match up to begin with when it was under the Meat Madness term. So,
Stephen Chambers in the chat. Dante almost got injured twice. Yeah. There were a couple of spots where Dante screwed up on dives.
Well, Darby said, "Hold my beer" later in the night, so let's not.
Oh my God!
Let's not be so hard on Dante Martin, shall we?
Though he had a good near fall, though, very believable near fall for Dante. But yeah, like we knew he was going to win that one. Joe would beat him anyways, but that'd be a fun match to see. But yeah,
I'm not even gonna lie. A more interesting finish to this match would have been had Wardlow tapped when he was in the Walls of Jericho and the Red Room at the same time.
Yeah,
and they would have had to have done like a match between Hook and Jericho to determine who was going to face Samoa Joe. Even that would have been more interesting than Wardlow winning this match.
Yeah, because then you could run Hook and Joe back again, which was a damn good match. That
and did a very big number for AEW that week on Dynamite as well. So people were interested in that Hook Joe matchup.
Orange Cassidy and Roderick Strong for the international title coming up. Man, when Orange took the shirt off, you're just like, oh, that's going to get backbreakered so many times.
That was really the only important part of 0 Hour, was that backstage segment with the doctor, where he told Orange Cassidy he would not clear him to compete unless he taped up his ribs and back to enter the match. And like, really, that was the only thing for me from 0 Hour that actually played into the pay-per-view proper that actually had any real meaning earlier in the night.
It is just as I predicted when he took his shirt off. There were a ton of backbreakers. It's the Messiah.
Yes, I was going to say that's kind of his thing.
Yeah, it's kind of his thing. Orange hit the Panama Sunrise, though. That was kind of cool. A little Adam Cole move there. But I think the story that was told here was basically Cassidy's body is giving him all he can give right now, and finally it fell to the end of Heartache with about 13 minutes in, which we predicted, both of us predicted, Roderick Strong being your new international champion. But that was far from the end of the story, because at the end of the evening, out of nowhere, a certain Kyle O'Reilly shows up in the ring looking pissed off and looks like he hadn't slept in a week. But then he hugs Roddy. They toss him a Undisputed Kingdom shirt, and Kyle's like, nah, I'm good. Hugs Roddy again.
Says something to him.
Yeah. And leaves. So, a very interesting moment, which is going to be interesting to see how it plays out. I'm wondering if he doesn't trust the Kingdom, which, Steven
says, guessing Kyle whispered to Roderick he's better than the Kingdom.
Because
which is kind of a burial of Bennett and Taven, but...
Well, it's also continuation of a story that's been long told on Ring of Honor between Red Dragon and the Kingdom. So it could be
they would have to get Fish back for that to matter.
Yeah. Which I don't know. Right now Sean Ross Sapp says it's happening, but so yeah, it'll be.
He said it's not happening, but I mean,
no, that's what I said.
There's
nothing happening.
All it takes is for somebody to pick up a phone.
Yeah.
It's like, just because it's not happening today doesn't mean it's not happening tomorrow.
Do you think that's what is going down? Is that he just doesn't trust those two?
I'm not sure what the story is they're trying to tell, but I do think if they're going to try to establish Kyle away from the Undisputed Kingdom, I think he needs Bobby Fish at his side, at least for the initial time being, because Kyle should not be trying to face 4-on-1 and 5-on-1 battles by himself right now after being out for as long as he's been out.
But he's got no issue with Roddy, so I don't know. That's going to be interesting to see what goes down Wednesday.
The thing is, Bobby Fish ain't doing much, dude. He's over in MLW, but it's not like he's under a contract or anything.
He's just doing indies here and there. That's it.
To me, if Tony Khan picked up the phone right now and called Bobby Fish and said, "Hey, we want to bring you back and put you together with Kyle against the Undisputed Kingdom and whatnot," I don't see Fish saying no.
No.
As far as I could tell, the only issues Fish had when he was with AEW is with the guy who ain't there no more.
Yep.
So, guess we'll find out. It's gonna be interesting to see where that storyline goes.
Cry about it. FTR
cried all the way to the other company.
He did. FTR, Mox, and Claudio. 30-minute time limit for this one because they went Broadway. They barely went 20 on this one. I know you don't think the right team won.
I don't, but I saw some good arguments as to why Mox and Claudio went over last night. The firmly established Mox and Claudio as a tag team, they probably needed this win over what many would argue is the top tag team in AEW right now. Also, Cash has that court date upcoming he's got to deal with, and heaven forbid somehow this thing doesn't go his way. You can't have, FTR riding high at that moment and then Wheeler's World, crashing down on him.
There's a gun involved though, wasn't there?
Was there a gun involved? A claim. It's a claim. Allegedly. I don't really know how much I buy it, to be perfectly honest.
I'd say a fine and a probation is probably what he's going to end up getting. MK in the chat. TK calls Bobby Fish. We give you a great retirement run just like Sting because he's doing great at 80. The old grandpa joke for Bobby Fish.
I don't want to see that. TK, look, I don't know if he totally ignored the question of if Kyle was cleared or if he got off. Sometimes TK goes off the rails in these things and he starts talking about something and then he forgets about the other part of the question. I think TK kind of just went on a little ramble and forgot about, because that was like the last couple words of like a multifaceted question about O'Reilly.
He wouldn't be in the ring if he was not cleared or near cleared. He would not be back on TV.
Yeah, I think he's cleared. I think he's ready
Yeah.
to go.
He's either cleared or
So
not, or very near to clear. And thank you, Daryl. I do my best. But yeah, obviously now those two guys are that's going to be the number one thing, number one team in your minds to take over those vacated belts right now. Now, I don't know, will they do it? I don't know. I think there may be a surprise in there. I think maybe a private party slides in there and could be the tag team champions. There could be, I mean, there's so many good tag teams in AEW. Obviously, the Young
to
Bucks
me,
just lost, so I don't think.
a top team has to leave the tournament with these titles. I like Private Party, but they have not been using a Private Party or a Top Flight to their fullest potential right now, and I
No,
can't foresee them going in there and knocking off a Bucks or an FTR or a Claudio and Mox. Like I don't see that happening.
what does AEW have here? Wow, their site is not updated for the rankings. That's weird. Last rankings they have are August. Do they put them on another page? There we go.
They've basically just been putting the rankings on social media.
So this is from January 31st. Yeah, this is the last one. Where the hell are the rankings at AEW? Yeah, these are old rankings too. I mean, they have Brian Danielson and they have Danielson and Claudio as number 3. Sting and Darby Allin were number 1. Silver and Reynolds were number 2. They barely get used. Private Party 4. Cassidy and Beretta at 5. And that was
That's really
January.
old because FTR. I saw one with FTR on the rankings. So that's a pretty old one. I don't keep track of them. Like I don't hardcore keep track of them weekly, but they post them on social media and stuff. So
Yeah. Well, it's too bad that they can't easily find them when you need them. But anyways, but yeah, I mean, obviously they're the favorites now to win those titles. I would say.
I would say so.
No, I mean, it's kind of weird. Like all the tag teams there, they're not really building them as strongly. So there's not really a strongly built
The
tag
great
team
thing about
compared to.
this tournament is they have a chance to reestablish the tag team division in a big way. So I actually think this tournament will do more for that division than anything else they probably could have done with the titles right now. So
Yeah.
I think this will be good.
Is this just a personal thing? Yeah, it's just I'm
Stop
AEW is
searching for them. Let's keep going.
they need
We're running out of time.
They need to do a better job at that. I'm calling them out because if they're making the rankings matter, their website should not show the most recent rankings as 2022. Tony Storm, Deonna Purrazzo, that didn't hit for me like I thought it would.
I thought it was a damn good match. I think
it was
the crowd.
okay.
I think the crowd was a bit tired from the BCC FTR match.
Maybe we had the same kind of finish as the opener, basically.
Yeah,
with the
I did not like that they almost copy and pasted the finish from the opener, but I thought the match itself was very good. I thought this match was better than Cage and Garcia's match overall as well. So
then we got the match of the night, baby. Holy shit. Will Ospreay and Konosuke Takeshita giving us what is probably going to be a 5-star Meltzer, maybe even more. But woo, there's a match of the year candidate right there, boys.
yeah, Takeshita tried to end Ospreay's AEW career before it even really started with that freaking corner turnbuckle brainbuster. Good lord, man. Good lord,
man. Then there was the he countered the Os Cutter into the Blue Thunder Bomb. Ooh, that was so pretty. I love that. This match was tremendous. Went only 22 minutes, but it was an epic. Welcome to AEW, Will Ospreay, huh?
Now we're gonna get on. Cal Fletcher on Wednesday, but it was teased that he might not be cleared.
Oh,
after getting banged up in that match with Takeshita on Sunday night, with
yeah.
the back bruise and everything that was caused from that brainbuster in the corner, like he might not get cleared. It was pretty clear Ospreay wants to do the match, but Tony was kind of hesitant. So
Wait and see.
we'll see closer to Wednesday. So we'll see what happens. If we get Ospreay and Fletcher on Dynamite, it's gonna be insane. So
World Championship match next. Joe Swerve, Hangman. I thought this was going to be Swerve's time, but then once it got to be Swerve and Hangman focusing on each other, I knew Joe was going to pull it out. And sure enough, that's what happened. Still a damn good match. A ton of near falls there, but I think it was pretty. I think they kind of telegraphed it in the beginning that Joe was going to retain here.
it was exactly what I expected it to be. I expected Joe to beat Heyman. Heyman will be happy that he prevented Swerve from winning the title. And here's the thing. If Swerve would have won that title last night, it would have been an afterthought. Because all anybody would have been talking about today was still that main event. With
Do you run
in the Bucks?
Do you run Swerve and Joe at Dynasty?
No, I run Swerve and Joe at Double or Nothing.
You do Wardlow and Joe at Dynasty.
I do Wardlow and Joe at Dynasty. Wardlow chokes as typical, and then I do Swerve beating Joe at Double or Nothing.
Okay.
And then Swerve probably has a run from May to August, and he drops it to Ospreay in London.
And the main event, a tremendous send off for one of my favorites. I've been watching I've been watching this guy since the beginning of his career. I watched NWA in the 80s and watched him rise up into the late 80s when he did face Flair in that Broadway. And so I've been a little Stinger from the beginning. And so this was very emotional watching the open, the little video package where Sting's sitting in the theater. And I just think AEW did a tremendous job from start to finish on this. It was cool to have Steamboat there. I'm sure they probably wanted a lot more people that probably were tied to WWE that couldn't be there. But yeah,
quite a few of them were. They just weren't allowed to be on camera.
Yeah,
like
Magnum TA, some great NWA guys: Magnum TA, Ivan Koloff, Lex Luger, Scotty Riggs, who still is jacked.
He didn't used to be. He got that off DDP.
Yeah,
that DDPY, man.
And I had absolutely zero problems with Sting being basically invincible here, Matt.
This was everything it needed to be.
Yeah,
everything it needed to be. It was the perfect send off for a storybook 3-year run that no one ever predicted we were going to be able to get after watching the match with Rollins. In WWE. Just a magical run, fitting of the icon. And if AEW ever decides to implement a Hall of Fame, I can't imagine anybody beyond Sting being their first inductee.
Exactly.
So,
great, a great 9-minute goodbye that was cut off on the pay-per-view, obviously running against pay-per-view time, but it's all on AEW's YouTube. Go check that out. His sons dressed as old iterations of Sting, Surfer and Wolfpack. That was awesome. His son's getting some whoop ass in there in the beginning too, doing some Stinger splashes. Darby Allin going through the glass. Ouch. Now that motherfucker's climbing Mount Everest. So we probably won't see Darby for a while.
He's got Jay White on the 13th.
Oh, that's right.
He's facing Jay White at Big Business. So
he must be gone after that.
That's probably going to be the last. He said
Everest
at
is in the
media
end
scrum
of
last
March.
night. He said Everest on March 27th.
Yeah,
I believe he said.
It's at the end of March. Yeah.
And Big Business is on the 13th. So.
Of course, big news at WWE today. Paul Heyman is announced as the first inductee into the 2024 Hall of Fame class. Being in Philadelphia this year, Matt, perfect first choice, perfect choice, period. I have zero problems with that one.
Yeah, it makes all the sense in the world. And personally, if you can't get Tommy Dreamer to come in and induct him, it's got to be CM Punk. I think CM, like if you're going for someone who's employed by your company right now, there's nobody better
Sure, it's not like
to
it'd be Brock Lesnar.
induct Heyman right now than CM Punk. So even if Lesnar was there, it would be a terrible induction speech.
Yeah, I know. I'm joking.
Like Lesnar's not the best talker in the world. I don't think that would have been good at all.
Okay, you don't get you don't have to get all hot on it.
Dude, there's a lot of people on social media today that said that they wish Brock was around to induct him. And I don't think they're fucking thinking.
Before Roman, people thought Punk's record was untouchable at 434.
I think Roman's induction speech would be lame too.
No, I'm saying before Roman, Punk. A lot of people thought Punk's record was going to be not really touched because it just didn't happen much in that period of time that somebody would hold the title for that long. Then Lesnar did it, yawn, and then Roman's been doing it.
Speaking of Roman.
Yeah, speaking of Roman, 45 minutes on SmackDown to get to, I mean, honestly, the last 5 minutes was great and all that. And The Rock acknowledges Roman Reigns. That was an interesting part. Did it really need to take up 45 minutes of SmackDown, Matt?
Look, at the end of the day, if the numbers were up, and they were, and that's all they're going to point to.
Yeah.
The numbers in the demo were up from last week, and that involved a 40 to 45-minute talking segment between The Rock and Roman Reigns. How can you argue? How can you argue with those results? Like some people might want to see more wrestling, but if you wanted to see more wrestling, there was a 4-hour wrestling pay-per-view on Saturday night that was going to be more than happy to give you the professional wrestling that you're looking for.
And if you're a WWE fan, you're getting less wrestling on the road to WrestleMania, anyways. So,
and I do think Rock is slowly but surely implementing his plan to kick Roman out of the bloodline. Yeah, I think he's going to take it over. I think Roman is playing the role of Ron Simmons, Farouk from the Nation days. Yep. And I think Rock is doing everything in his power to infiltrate and take the bloodline away from Roman. And I think when Roman does face Rock, probably at WrestleMania 41, Roman's going to be a big-time babyface again.
As soon as that title is dropped, that's when the wheels get spinning on that. It's almost Dick Wolf time, so only 2 things announced on Raw, according to the website. Jey Uso, Drew McIntyre, Becky Lynch, Nia Jax.
And I saw an email from WWE earlier this afternoon that Cody and Seth are scheduled to kick off Raw tonight. So,
well, the graphics are coming up on YouTube TV. Any final words, Matt, before we close off the show, besides thank you, Sting?
Yeah, thank you, Sting. Great revolution. Hoping for a good episode of Raw. Like I said, every episode of Raw and SmackDown from now to Mania needs to be home runs. We're in that time of year.
Yep. For Matt Black, this is Jeremy Bennett. Thank you for tuning in to Lost the Midcard. Join us on the socials during Raw. We'll be on there. Have yourselves a good week.